write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out. Look down more. Just try your best. Try everything you can. Don't you worry what they tell themselves. You're all way. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. Hey, you know they're all the same. You know you're doing better on your own. So don't buy in. Live right now. Just be yourself. It doesn't matter if it's good enough for someone else. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. Hey, don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out. Look down now. Just do your best.
Do your best.
Do everything you can.
Do everything you can.
Don't you worry what the bitter hearts are gonna say. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright.
Welcome to WellSprings. I'm Adam. My pronouns are he and him, and I am thankful for the opportunity to serve as our worship leader this morning. Each week, when we gather, even when we must gather at a distance, we light a chalice, not only as a symbol of our spiritual heritage as Unitarian Universalists, but also to call upon that divine spark within each of us, both emerging and eternal, and invite it consciously to be present with us here and now. After the chalice has been lit, we'll say the words up on the screen. And together we say, we light our chalice to celebrate the path lit before us, the warmth of kindness that shines from within us, and the radiance of wisdom that is shared between us and never goes out. Good morning and welcome to this week's online service. Our mission here at WellSprings is to be a community charged full with the charge of the soul. This Thursday, many of us will celebrate Thanksgiving. My family is choosing to stay home and trade some of our fixins with neighbors. A COVID-friendly approach to the holiday. We canceled plans to see family, and I'd be lying if I didn't say we are pretty bummed. We are deeply sad that we won't get to see grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends, but we are incredibly thankful that we are healthy and will have food in our bellies this holiday. At a few events that usually take place during this season, our friends or family will go around the table and we will each say what we are thankful for. Perhaps you do this with a group you are close with. As you can probably imagine, this frequently brings about tears, both the happy and the sad. Some may be thankful for family, a good job, consistency, and health. Some are thankful for family members and friends who supported them at a time of great loss that year. I will miss our sharing in person this year, but I hope to share with my friends and family what I am thankful for and that I am truly grateful for them. This year, I am thankful for the health of my family, including my mom, who continues making the best of her life after the passing of her one true soulmate, Herbie. I'm thankful that Herb, my dad, spent hours with me in the garage tinkering around and including me and my help. He let me play with dangerous tools, make mistakes, build things that wouldn't have any useful purpose, but he always made that time feel special, no matter the task or project. One fall, he and I built a platform for the Christmas tree complete with plaster of Paris and an N-gauge scale train track and train set. Some of those trains came back to life from his youth. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that one year he and I worked on repairing and replacing some bulbs so that I could put 2,400 Christmas lights on our house. It was so bright, in fact, that you could see it from the top of the local ski mountain. Sadly, his garage and an amazing wood shop now sit idle. Some of the tools just the way he left them. The campfires in front of the shop, once a near weekly occurrence, rarely flame up anymore. The Green Bay Packers game hasn't been on the radio since. And the classic rock music, a love that he passed on to all three of his kids, plays only occasionally out the shop doors. But in the cars and homes of the hearts who loved him always. This week will be 2 years since pancreatic cancer took him from us too soon. And we'll find a way to celebrate him again. He deserves it. And finally, inspired by others, and since we're not traveling, we decided to donate some of those travel funds to food banks to support families in need. If you have decided to stay put too, and you are able, I urge you to check your area for places you can donate to. Or check out national organizations like Feeding America or regional food rescue organizations like Forgotten Harvest in Detroit. We are thankful you are joining us today. Love and light to you and your families this Thanksgiving. Now, this is a special Sunday, our annual Wild and Precious Live service. There was no youth spirit this morning because today is an all-ages service with speakers from across different decades of life sharing their reflection during our message today. I'm sure you will find their plans for life inspiring. So, if you are a family with children, please invite them in to join and watch. And in the spirit of this Sunday, I asked my children what they would do with their one wild and precious life. My daughter said she plans to put her one wild and precious life in her heart. And she wants to go to her grandma and grandpa's and hug and kiss a lot. My son wants to watch his dada and shake those skeleton bones. What can I say? The boy loves Halloween. They aren't even halfway through their first decade of life, so I am sure these will change. Probably somewhat hilariously, as time goes by too quickly. Even though our community is gathering virtually right now, there are lots of ways to get connected and stay in touch with us throughout the week. Right now, you can see on your screen next to me all the different ways to connect with us online. And if you're new, please fill out our online connection card to learn more. The link is in the video description below. Now, over to Jessica for some things we'd like to highlight this week.
Hi WellSprings, my name's Jessica Heichel and I have 2 announcements for you this week. The first is just to say thank you to everyone who was able to make it out to our first ever WellSprings Drive-Up event. We handed out winter care packages, youth spirit packets, and items for some of our winter projects happening. And we were able to see so many of you for the first time since March, or in some cases even earlier. We're so appreciative that you were able to come out for that. For anyone who wasn't able to make it out, please don't worry, we have something in the works for you as well. We're planning a safe and socially distanced handoff of the care package, or in some cases youth spirit packets, to families who weren't able to attend. So keep an eye out for that within the next few weeks. The second announcement is that our angel tree is returning this year. It's going to look a little different than it usually does, obviously, in this age of social distancing. So rather than requesting specific items for families in need, the Lord's Pantry in Downingtown is taking donations of money. And what they are going to do is take that money and turn it into gift cards to give directly to the families in need so that they are able to shop for themselves. So if you would like to support this project, I will be putting information about the angel tree this year into the chat, and you can take a look when you have a moment. Thanks so much, everyone, and I'll see you next week.
At WellSprings, the foundation of everything we do is found in the power of connection, making space in our hearts and our lives for each other. This is the part of the service where we honor that connection by greeting one another. Now, we may not be able to hug and shake hands, but there are plenty of ways to greet other Wellspringers for a few moments. If you're watching this live on Sunday at 10, you can type a greeting into the chat window on the side of your screen. Maybe you could drop into the WellSprings Oasis group on Facebook with a greeting, or snap and share a photo of yourself watching me at home. Text a friend from church or make a plan to call them when the service is over. You can also plan to join us for our online coffee hour at 11 a.m. on Zoom. The link for that is also in the video description below. Take a few moments now to say hello to someone. I'm going to reach out to my brother and sister and say hey, and hoping that they are having a good weekend. Thank you for connecting. I invite you now into our time of generosity, a time to reflect upon and to express our gratitude for the role WellSprings plays in our own lives and in our wider world.
Hi everybody, it's Kevin from your Generosity and Gratitude Ministry. So good to see you, or to be seen on a Sunday morning. Two things I wanted to pass on. First, I want to say thank you. A really heartfelt thank you for your support of our community during this unprecedented and wild, in the most unwild way ever, year of a lot of stress. But one of the stresses that we haven't had to deal with at WellSprings is financially, because of your support. And for that, I really thank you. We'll have more details about that next month. But the short version of it is, you all are amazing. The support for this community that we all love has been remarkable. Thank you. Second thing is, on a more fun note, we've done this sort of thing before, but we're asking for your participation in a project. And the project is about what I'm thankful for from WellSprings. For myself, I am thankful for Wednesday mindfulness check-in with Reverend Ken and a bunch of other Wellspringers every Wednesday. It's a great opportunity to practice mindfulness, to settle into practice, and it serves as a great way for me to reconnect and charge full, get a midweek recharge. And so what we would appreciate is if you would share with us the things that you are grateful for from WellSprings. It could be anything. What we're going to ask you to do is, to keep it short, just a couple words. You'll see in the end why we need you to keep it short, but just a couple words. It doesn't need to be an essay. Secondly, we need you to record it on video, much like I'm doing right now, and then to send it to one of these three places that Rodney is, I'm sure, putting up right next to me at this point. A phone number, 484-751-7795, or stewardship at wellspringsuu.org, I believe is the email address, or to post it on WellSprings Facebook page, the Oasis page on Facebook. Any of those three ways, we'll collect them. You will have our gratitude for participating. It's always a lot of fun. I hope it's something for you all to look forward to as we get towards the end of the year to see what exactly this little project is, this little Easter egg. Again, thank you so much. And at this point, I would ask that we pass the hat.
Just as we've taken the time to share the energy of connection among us and the generosity beyond us, let's now devote some time to reground into the deep and soulful energy that's within ourselves. Let's take a moment to just be. Allow yourself to sit comfortably and allow yourself to notice, perhaps, for the first time today, that you are breathing. Allow your eyes to fall closed if you are comfortable doing so. And we do what is most simple and elemental in our lives. We take a breath. We inhale and exhale. Without rush or hurry, we breathe in and then we breathe out. There's nowhere else to go, nowhere else to be, and nothing else to do than be here now, together. We follow these words from Thich Nhat Hanh into our time of mindful silence. If we want to enter heaven on earth, we need only one conscious step and one conscious breath. Let us cultivate peace and experience presence in this quiet time together. Wherever it is that we are, whatever it is that we are doing, however it is that we are feeling, let us remember that peace and presence are always as close to us as is our own breath. May this be so for you this moment. May it be so for you this day. May it be so for you in the days to come. May it be so for all of us. As I mentioned earlier, today is Wild and Precious Lives Sunday at WellSprings. Each year on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we ask members of our community from across all the decades of life to share reflections answering the question posed at the end of Mary Oliver's poem, The Summer Day. This year, we've asked one of the youngest members of our community to read the poem for us all. Enjoy.
The Summer Day by Mary Oliver. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, the one who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms, thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last? And too soon? Tell me, what is it your plan to do? Tell me, with your one wild, precious life.
I'm gonna sing from June till May. Gonna write a new song each and every day. Open my mouth up, I got something to say with this wild and precious life. I'm gonna love unconditionally, love will set me free. I'm gonna open myself up to what this world has for me. With this wild and precious life, I'm gonna run. Sun gives me vitamin D. I find joy in every face I see. Fly so high over green, green trees and never coming down. I'm gonna dance with the ones I love. Dance with the spirit and the morning dove. Dance to the drummer deep inside of me with his wild and precious life. I'm gonna grow like every plant I see, from a seed to infinity. Grow from sorrow, happiness, pain and joy with this wild and precious life. I'm gonna live with a fire in my soul, like a wise old sage. I will never grow cold when I'm gone. One thing you can do for me is live a wild and precious life. A wild and precious life. A wild and precious life. Wild and precious life.
Hi, my name is Noah. I'm 16 years old and I am in 11th grade. I'm going to read this off my computer because I have short-term memory, but I'll explain that later. I go to 21st Century Cyber Charter School. I have been going there since 7th grade and not because of the pandemic. Before the pandemic, I attended dance school. I played Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. I enjoyed drawing and reading. My life in this pandemic has changed a lot. I go on hikes and ride a bike with my dad and brother and have attended more Zoom meetings than I ever thought was possible. I have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, so I have been pretty isolated since March. I was born prematurely at 28 weeks and weighed 2 pounds 1 ounce. Not many people know this, but I had a twin brother named Brennan, but he passed away when he was 11 days old. Because of my early start in life, I've had many therapies and interventions, which included speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and social skills. At 8 years old, I was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder by a behavioral specialist. My pediatrician never felt that diagnosis matched my actions. I have struggled with organization of thoughts, motor planning, and forgetfulness. School has always been challenging for me. No matter how hard I studied or how much I applied myself, I was not able to get good grades. My pediatrician referred me to a neuropsychologist, and after her review of my medical records, she was able to give me a correct diagnosis. As an infant, I had a level 2 brain bleed, which we later discovered was just like having a stroke. The stroke damaged my frontal lobe, and the neuropsychologist explained to me and my mom that was the reason I was having so much trouble with my memory, organization, and motor planning. With my new diagnosis, I got a new treatment plan and interventions, and I'm happy to report that I have made A/B honor roll for 2 years, and I'm confident that I will keep it up in my junior and senior years. I am grateful for my occupational therapist, Miss Lauren, because she has helped me with problem solving, organizing my thoughts, executive functioning, and my favorite activity, cooking. I'm a better cook because of Miss Lauren. She taught me how to follow a recipe and pre-plan before I start cooking, and I've made some very yummy cakes. Another passion of mine is gardening. I have a summer job with a nonprofit organization named Chalice. Chalice teaches sustainable gardening. One of my jobs was working in lower income communities to build a sustainable garden. Another job I liked was harvesting various vegetables to put in boxes for CSAs. Chalice became a hybrid job because of COVID. I was not able to go to the work site where we can meet online and discuss environmental issues of the country. I love learning about other people's lives. It was during an online listening party of the Moth Radio Hour with fellow WellSpring members that I decided that I wanted to answer Mary Oliver's question, tell me, what it is you plan to do with your one wild and precious life. There are several things I hope to do with my wild and precious life. I'm really into paleo artistry and I want to be a paleo artist. They work in museums and help stage lifelike scenes of prehistoric animals. I'm also interested in bioacoustics, which is the study of animal and human sounds and communication. But realistically, and because of my love of food, I would most likely pursue a career as a chef. Thank you.
My name is Stephanie Waldman, and I'm 23 years old. Many of you know me from when I was much younger. Some of you know me now, and most of you know my parents, Steve and Josie Waldman. It's interesting to me how close I feel to all of you, regardless of how long it's been since I've been with you. That, to me, is a deep beauty of this community that I found myself to be a part of. My biggest hope is that you all feel similarly about some community in your life, whether it's here or somewhere else, especially during this very strange time. I rewrote my draft for this talk maybe 100 times. I feel like I have so much to share with you all, but in each draft I noticed a trend. I was trying to bring up my mental illnesses as a side point in my story. It felt important to include them, but I couldn't put too much focus on them because there's so much more important stuff that I've done. I tried to add a sentence here or there about how mental illness has slightly affected me, but it never felt authentic. When I tried to take my discussion of mental health out of my draft completely, it felt even more like I was lying to all of you about my life. Eventually, when going the other way and writing a draft entirely about mental illness, something felt right. It felt honest, and it felt like I was finally sharing my true, wild, and precious life with you all. My mental illnesses sometimes feel like they control the entirety of who I am. And this year, while I was applying to medical schools, I was repeatedly told that I should not include anything at all about my diagnoses. Maybe that's why I felt I couldn't talk to you about them. More likely, I think I have bought into the idea that having a mental illness is a weakness. I would never tell anyone else that, but telling myself and discrediting my own accomplishments, that's easy. The truth is, it is easy to focus on the bad and the bad alone. So much of my mental headspace is used to overcome my more debilitating symptoms, and sometimes I forget to stop and think of the things that I've been able to do despite them. This year, I applied to 15 medical schools, took the MCAT and matched my score goal. I got a raise at my job while being told that my work is invaluable to my team. Last year, I graduated summa cum laude with a Bachelor's of Science in Neuroscience. It was a 4-year degree that I did in 3 years. I mean, come on, that's crazy. That's impressive. And as super cringy as it is for me to talk about myself that way, it's really important to remind myself of those successes. Bringing these successes up, I can understand why medical schools, my advisors, and even sometimes my mom express that it may be better to leave my mental illnesses out of the conversation. Why focus on the negative when I can speak about the positive? Well, for me, speaking about the negative helps me remember that the struggles I'm going through are valid and normal and common. As a 23-year-old, I very rarely share my diagnoses to others and hear surprise. More often I hear, "Oh my gosh, me too," or twins. It's a very Gen Z way of showing support, but honestly, it's really important to me in my mental health to not feel alone, because I'm not, and none of us are. The best thing I think is to put in some work to remind myself that having bad days, especially ones caused by my mental illnesses, did not negate the big things that I've done. Similarly, having done the big things does not mean that my diagnoses don't exist or that they matter less. With my wild and precious life, I am choosing to follow the path of becoming a physician. I'm proud of myself for that. But with my wild and precious life, I will also have to endure the hardships that come along with having anxiety, depression, and ADHD. I am proud of myself for those parts too, though, because I have them, but I'm not allowing them to control me even when it would be easier to do so. I didn't choose for mental illness to be a part of my life, but I am choosing to not let it stop me from following my dreams. I'm choosing to be honest about who I am, how I feel, and when I need help. That being said, not everyone's mental illnesses present in the same way, and some people need considerably more help than others. If anything from this, I hope that you take away that there's no shame in who you are or what you're going through, and there's no shame in getting any level of help. In case you didn't already know, WellSprings has a team of people ready to help called the Caring Team. They're not mental health professionals, but they can listen, and they can get you connected with more professional support if you need it. The information for this team will show up on screen briefly before the next speaker. If you're in a place where some extra help is needed right now, screenshot that page and reach out. Thank you all for listening so much, and I hope that I see you all in person soon.
Hi Wellspringers, it's Erica, and I'm so very lucky to speak with you guys today. I was actually a little terrified when Reverend Lee asked me to be a part of this today. I tend to be a person who hides in the background, and it took a while for me to feel brave enough to do this. And I was thinking about how I wanted to go about discussing my one wild and precious life. And I thought, what better way than to tell you about my journey to WellSprings. Because it's the story of bravery and courage. And if anything, I think that's what I'm looking for in my one wild and precious life. So in 2015, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Rather unexpectedly. It was a rare form that is not genetic, so it wasn't expected in the family. And I went through the surgery and the chemotherapy and lost all my hair, which was not fun at all, obviously. But when I came out of it, I was looking for something that maybe I hadn't been able to do before, something that would make me find my passions in life again. And through Facebook, an ad for something I had never looked for and didn't know why it ever showed up for me, but it was an ad for a sleepaway adult camp, summer camp. And I had always wanted to do that as a child, but never had the chance to. And so I screwed my courage to the sticking place, and I signed up for it. And I had to drive all the way into New York, Lake George area, about 5 hours away, and sleep in a bunk camp with about 10 or 12 other girls for a week. And I was so excited to go and eat in the canteen and do crafts and play in the lake, all the things you think about as a kid. But the name of this camp was actually Soul Camp. And when I got there, I realized that the classes were a lot different than I was expecting. they really had you probe into your life and into things that would help you with your growth. And it was so eye-opening for me. And I went to one class with a chiropractor who also looked at your chakras. And she told me that I needed to work on my purple chakra, which is your crown chakra. And that is your universal connectedness and your spirituality. And when I was growing up, that really wasn't a part of my life. I grew up in the military. My father was in the Air Force, and I moved all over the place, and we were never introduced to religion until I was in 9th grade. And it just really wasn't a part of my growing up. And I have had issues with religion and the dogma of it. And so I really hadn't ever looked back into it for myself. So coming out of Soul Camp, I got home and I received a magazine that I had never seen before, and I haven't seen again since. It was a magazine called Chester Springs Life, and it had a, 4 or 5 page spread about WellSprings. It almost seemed fated. And so when I drove up to Bell Hall that first time and I looked at that huge set of stairs going up to the building, I was terrified. But when I got there, it was such an amazing experience. And I have to admit, the fact that they sang the Beatles on my first day in there, could just say sold. Sign me up. I was ready to see what WellSprings was all about. And the more I've gotten to know it, the more it speaks to my soul. And so, for me, the story of my one wild and precious life is growth. If I had to put it in one word, growth and bravery. Going outside of my box and learning more about myself and how I can be a better me. So thank you for listening, and I appreciate the opportunity, and have a blessed, wild, and precious life. Thank you.
My wild and precious life really began a journey. It began many years ago when I met my wife at my best friend's house. I'd come down to Delaware to interview for a job which promptly fell through. Maria and I met over dinner, and it was love at first sight. The next time I saw her, I did not even recognize her because she had gotten dressed for church. True love indeed. This was only the beginning of my journey in this wild and precious life. I found work in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and we were on the road again. This became a bit of a whirlwind tour, and I'll compress all of the following years into this statement. What a long, strange trip it's been. 3 boys, now 26, 32, 34, a glorious marriage, I hope, of 35 years. I'll have to check with the boss about this. I've made some wonderful friends on this journey, some of whom are members of WellSprings. Unending unending thanks to Merle Bowe, Pete Higgins, and Lois Lutz. We met in a writers group, and we have been friends ever since. In fact, Pete and Merle introduced me to WellSprings. I was hooked by the possibilities of a religious organization that is so flexible and open to all. By the way, we have the most skilled and diverse set of musicians known to man. The best and worst parts of this journey have involved my health challenges. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was 28. Where am I? Along the way, I have been challenged in so many ways, but as a result, I have become quite self-reliant, sometimes to my own peril.
I have become more humble.
I got it. I have become more humble and have learned to ask for help. This is a true and valuable life experience. I recommend it to everyone, since none of us are getting any younger. For my family and for all of you, I want to be a model of resilience and resourcefulness, always caring about others in a loving way. I want to stay involved in positive community-oriented activities, using my abilities, whatever they may be at the time. Recently, I saw 2 films that spoke to me about the need to take advantage of each moment and marshal my resources to move forward. In the movie Dead Poets Society, the community...
I am reminded.
Yeah, I missed a line here, folks. In the
Movie Dead Poets.
Yep, in the movie Dead Poets Society, I am reminded to seize the day. In the movie Patch Adams, the community of patients became healers by being of service to one another, just as we do in the WellSprings community. I plan to lead my life guided by those same principles. Each of us is faced with daily challenges during the pandemic, and we all must decide how to manage them. Some may get
Overwhelmed.
where am I?
Overwhelmed.
Yes, like me right now. Some may get overwhelmed and give up. But I choose to face those challenges directly and plan for a better future. We can all contribute to whatever extent we can. It's not over till it's over. If any of you are Yogi Berra fans, I keep on fighting to stay positive. So, what am I going to do with my wild and precious life, you ask? Well, let's see what I can do with where things are today, and I will keep my focus on the horizon for those wild and precious things yet to come.
Go.
Good morning, WellSprings. My name is Ed Thornton. I'm an elder in the community. I'm age 83. It's an honor and pleasure for me to have this opportunity to share the evolution of my one wild and precious life. I'm the fourth born in a family of 6, 5 boys and my sister Pat. Both my parents were born in the city of Cork, County Cork, Ireland. My mother died at her age 43, my age 9, after giving birth to Pat. Her death devastated me for many, many years. I grew up a very angry, judgmental man because of her death and 12 years of strict Irish Catholic education. As a young man, I stuffed my feelings and became an addict. My drug of choice was food in general, sugar in particular. For many years, my spiritual life was the 12 stages of Overeaters Anonymous. Many years of individual and group therapy, plus more than 20 years of active participation in the Mankind Project, helped me realize how to love myself to the point where I now say this affirmation daily. Because I am the only person I will have a relationship all my life, I choose to love myself the way I am now. To always acknowledge that I'm just enough the way I am. To love, honor, and cherish myself. To be my own best friend. To be the person I would like to spend the rest of my life with. To always take care of myself so that I can take care of others. To always grow, develop, and share my love and life. I've tried to live my life following the words of John Wesley. Quote, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can, close quote. 3 years ago, my beautiful creative wife, Susan Leonard, and I visited WellSprings for the first time at the invitation of our good friends Denise and Gary Baskin. We immediately enjoyed the people, the music, and outstanding comments by Reverend Ken and Reverend Lee. WellSprings quickly became our new spiritual home. Our first small group experience with WellSprings was attending a soup and six dinner at the home of Cindy and Bob McKee, where we met several other WellSprings members. As some of you know, I'm facing two possible life-threatening situations. Stage 4, chronic kidney disease, and melanoma skin cancer. Conscious living, conscious dying has now become my one wild and precious life. The one thing I have in common with all of you is time. This is the best time management statement I have ever seen. It was created by Dr. Leon A. Dankel. Quote, "In his wisdom, God gives to us a limited, finite number of hours a year in which to achieve our goals, both materially and spiritually. He gives us these hours in sequence, day by day, month by month. If they are wasted, however, they are neither repeatable nor refundable. He gives the same amount to the rich and to the poor, to the young and to the old. Whatever successes we may achieve in this life will come to the purpose to which we put God's priceless gift, time." Close quote. We're going to end my presentation this morning with this statement. Thank God I'm not the man I used to be. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
It's always so hard to offer a prayer at the end of our Wild and Precious Lives service because the words and the stories that we share are such prayers in and of themselves. What more is there to say beyond the honest sharing of who we are with each other? It's why we're here. But if you'll indulge me for a moment and take the invitation now, perhaps to let your eyes fall closed, your shoulders drop, and join me in that spirit of connection to something greater than ourselves. Holy energy, string of light and darkness, string of movement and stillness, string of the cold and the warmth, the winter and the summer, thread connecting all of it, weaving it all together in one beautiful quilt, one great fabric of this existence that each of us is a part of. One of our speakers this morning said that we in this community are healers for each other. We are in this community and beyond it, each born into life as one more potential redeemer, one more potential healer, one more person who has something that they don't even know or understand at the moment of their birth. And for many of us, many years beyond, we carry something that can heal another person. We carry that spark of God, of the divine, of the most holy. We carry it in part because one day someone else will need it. One day someone else will need that spark to light their own path, to help them find the way forward. And so today, in this prayer, I am so grateful for the people who shared their spark this morning, and for the ways that so many of us in this community, all of us in this community at some point or another, have decided to simply show up, to be here, and to be exactly who they are. Trusting, as our faith teaches us, that exactly who we are, exactly who you are, is a gift. For the prayer that I have spoken this morning, and for all of the prayers that every one of us gathered here together in this space that we create by our intentions, by our hearts. For the prayers that all of these people carry silently within themselves this morning, we say amen.
When I was a boy each week, Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we will learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine, water is not so small, but needing that magic drink isn't anything that's here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where the missing's one. When holy water was rare at best, I barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's sacred hand me down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a question in child's face, so it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, so it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then, 'cause everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
Well, this light may go out, but the source that sparked it stays with each one of us, wherever we are. And together we say, as we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, and to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always. I hope I'll see some of you online for our Zoom coffee hour at 11 o'clock. And until next week, take care, everyone, and be well.